So welcome to the new episode of the Seanfidential Informant, powered by BNV Media and Shop 60. Today we have on pro skateboarder, Jackass star, and all-around great guy, Brandon Novak. Brandon, it's good to have you on, man.
I'm grateful to be here, man. Our journey goes back from the watches, and I was very fond of those and very grateful that you sent me some, and I still wear them to this day. So when you asked if I would be a part of this, it was a no-brainer.
Amazing, man. Well, we appreciate you having us on. Brandon, just take us back, man. I want to hear about, like the CKY videos. I want to hear kind of how you got your start and in life and skateboarding and, how it all started.
Well, skateboarding is kind of the most common theme throughout my life. And my life's been pretty fucking sporadic and erratic and all over the place, to say the least. But the one common theme that was kind of like the thread that held the whole sweater together was a skateboard for me. And that looked like me receiving my first skateboard at the age of 7. And that night when my mother put me to bed, she said, "Brandon, what would you like me to do with your skateboard?" And I said, "I want it in bed with me." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because if I die, I want it to go with me." Like the moment that board touched my hand, I knew I was going to be a skateboarder for the rest of my life.
Wow.
There like no reason for a plan B, a trait, an option. And I ate it, I breathed it, I slept it, I dreamt it. And, at 14, I was endorsed by Gatorade. At 15, I was sponsored by Pal Peralta. I was touring the world with the Bones Brigade, designing pro models, prototype shapes. And, it took from there. Skateboarding raised me. I came from a household of a father who was around just enough to let us know he wasn't around. He was a drug addict. He succumbed to his addiction. He passed away. He's no longer with us. A mother who did everything that she could to give us the best that we deserved in her eyes. And she's my idol. She's my everything still to this day. And a loving brother and sister who kind of raised me, because my mother was a single mother working to support 3 children with no help. And so therefore she would take me to work with her, and I at 6 a.m. when she worked at the hospital, and I would just skate in the parking garage all day and kind of hang out in the hospital. And then when I got a little bit older, she took an ad out in the paper. This is back then. And she would take an ad out in like the Sunday Sun and hired somebody to pick me up every day after school and drive me to this local skate shop where there was a mini ramp in the back. And then she would pick me up on her way home from work. And in doing that, there was a pro skater there by the name of Bucky Lasik. And Bucky is still the man, and he was the man then. And he saw something in me, right? And he kind of took me under his wing and he mentored me. And he was the guy that got me sponsored by Pal Peralta.
Okay. Gotcha. I was going to ask that. So age 14, you said you got sponsored by Gatorade. And he kind of helped you along to get those sponsorships throughout your early days, is what you're saying, right?
Well, he got me sponsored by Pal. He got my foot in the door with Pal Peralta, and that kind of transitioned into all these other opportunities, such as Gatorade.
So do you think, like, at that age, when you get sponsorships like that, like, I don't know how to word this, but like, do you think you get taken advantage of at a young age when people see, especially in skateboarding, there's a lot of young talent, and when they go to sponsor people, do a lot of companies take advantage of you because you're young, or what do you think about that?
That wasn't my experience. Mm-hmm. I never witnessed that in the skateboarding world. Mm-hmm. No.
Okay.
I think it was pretty much face value, and skaters aren't really like, they're not, they're not coming in wanting, green rooms with fucking 12 white and all green M&Ms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Like they're pretty like, dude, just give us a board and a rad place to skate and we're good, and contest and opportunities to have video parts. And yeah, so I think it was a good thing.
That's awesome. So you started skating at age 7, you said, and you went, so age 14, you get sponsored. That was your first sponsorship at age 14, or?
Yeah. Pal was my, I was sponsored by like skate shops. right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like everyday local skate shops. I would get sponsored by them, and then I put together, a video part, a sponsor me tape, and then with Bucky, vouching for me. I was able to send it directly to Todd Hastings, who at the time was the team manager for Powell Peralta. And, a million of those tapes don't get watched or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody vouching for your credibility or your talent, then obviously it's going to make it into the hands of the right person
Right
who has.
people. Exactly.
Yeah. And then I was like on flow first. So they would send me like some wheels, a board here and there.
Yeah.
And then I worked my way up the ladder with it.
That's amazing, man. So did you traveled around with Tony Hawk at one point? Did I hear that correctly or?
Yeah, totally. Bucky and I would go to Tony Hawk's house. Way back when he like had all these ramps at his house. He still does, but this is like back. He was riding for Powell.
So he was pretty famous at a young age as well. Are you? How old's Tony Hawk, by the way? Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure. 50 or so. Yeah. So what was he like going around with him at a young age?
It was surreal, man. It was kind of, for me, it was the equivalent of a fucking kid meeting Santa Claus and getting ready to get, and being able to like ride in his sled for a day. You know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like going and staying at Hawk's house as a kid, skating his ramps during the day.
So he was that popular with the young crew or the young crowd as well, even when he was young.
Yeah, he's been a legend since day one.
Yeah,
much. He's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So how much skating do you do lately? You still keep up with it? I know I heard a quote that you had said, or that Steve-O had said, I guess it said skateboarding weeds out the quitters. I thought that was a good quote. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it fares well. It makes sense, and it kind of has transcended into what I like to attribute to my recovery or sobriety. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so doing skateboarders are so prone to trying one trick for fucking hours, days, weeks, and sometimes months for that matter, to just fall over and over relentlessly, and then one day they just make it. And that's kind of been my life.
Why do you think skateboarders, like, they transitioned so well? Because a lot of you guys who did Jackass were skateboarders. Why do you think it's that was the background for so many of you guys as you went into the Jackass movies and into that kind of career?
Well, I think it wasn't intended to be that way. It was just that Big Brother happened to be a skateboarding magazine on the West Coast, right? And then Bam on the East Coast created CKY. So you have a skateboarding magazine on the West Coast, and the founders of that skateboarding magazine, and then you have Bam, which is the skateboarder of Pennsylvania, came up with this concept for CKY's and Big Brother, which then basically fucked and had a baby, and the baby's name was Jack. So it was just kind of like a skater created movement, if you will.
It also seems like, skaters, you guys are getting into accidents all the time and always doing crazy tricks, that it kind of transitioned well for you guys because, obviously the Jackass stunts, you're falling, breaking bones. What would be your craziest injury between skateboard and between Jackass, if you could think of one? I know you probably had a million, but just off the top of your head, if you could think of one.
The one that was fucking gnarly for a lot of reasons was the doo-doo falls that I did, and it was the title of the skit.
Yeah,
I sat on a toilet with my pants down on this like 13-foot oververt ramp, attempting to roll in, and just went right to the flat bottom. And I wasn't gonna wear a helmet for this stunt, but Knoxville was like, you should really wear a helmet, and I did. And thank God, because I split the helmet wide open. If I didn't have the helmet on, I surely. So when I fell, I broke every rib but one. I got a concussion. Split that helmet open, and then as they were taking me to the hospital, the state troopers met me at the hospital, and lo and behold, I had an open felony warrant out for my arrest.
Of course.
So all broken ribs, concussion, in a wheelchair, already addicted to drugs at that point anyways, then taken directly from there to the jail where I had to sit for 3 days and go through withdrawals because I couldn't get to my fucking drugs. while having all, broken bones, just hating life. That was a pretty gnarly experience.
I would say so. Oh my God. So when did the drugs kind of come in, Brandon? I mean, obviously you're successful at a young age. At what point did you kind of start messing around, experimenting with drugs?
Like well, experimenting, 15.
Yeah.
But when it became a permanent fixture, like end of 16, 17, by the time I was 17, I was a full-blown heroin addict.
Wow. So at what point did you yourself realize, okay, this is no longer, just a fun thing. This is a problem now?
Yeah. It's funny. There's so many layers to addiction and the complexity to it. And the fact that once I was diagnosed as an addict or an alcoholic, I now possessed this delusional alcoholic brain that lied to me in my own voice, which made me believe the unbelievable for a lot of years. So at the time, I really believed that it wasn't a problem. Looking back, I can clearly
it was a
see
problem.
So it depends on if you're asking me this question right now, present day, or then. If you're asking me right now when the problem started, at 17 when I entered my first treatment center. But at that point, I went into that treatment center strictly to prove a point why I didn't belong and I could drink and drug successfully. And everybody was just overreacting. They just caught me at a bad time on a bad way in a bad day. And tomorrow was going to be different. Yeah. And I believe that tomorrow was going to be different. But unfortunately, I would wake up tomorrow to repeat yesterday's actions and be stuck in Groundhog's Day for like 24 years. So right now, today, present day, when I realized it was a problem at 17, at my first treatment center, when I was drinking and drugging, when did I realize it was out of control and I found myself in a place, in a position that I couldn't reel it back in from, was probably like 34, 33.
So was there a particular moment around 34, 33 that you kind of looked at yourself in the mirror and you were like, okay, this has to stop now. I can't keep living my life like this. Was there any certain was there an overdose experience or something that happened that made you realize that it's got to stop now?
Well, I wish that were the case, but overdosing was just like Monday morning. It was a par for the course, because the reality is, again, everything I'm saying now, I did not know then, but the disconnection from reality and abnormality was insane. And I was merely like living to use and using to live on this animalistic level that the norm wouldn't get unless you're caught up in it. And like the signs that alluded me to the fact that it was unmanageable, out of control, and I need help was like being homeless, prostituting my body, ending up in jail, sleeping in abandoned houses, eating out of trash cans. Like those definitely clearly allowed me to see the severity of my situation. But the reality was I wasn't in quite enough pain at that point that would allow me to become willing to do whatever I had to do to get myself out of those terrible situations.
So you had a number of times you were in treatment facilities. You were kicked out a couple times, if I heard correctly.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I've been kicked out. I've left. I've gotten high in them. It's to be specific, May 25th, 2015, God willing, I entered my 13th inpatient treatment center. I'd lost count of outpatients and detoxes. My mother had bought me a plot. People had taken life insurance policies out on me. I ended up on life support for 7 days. Jesus. My mother sold 3 homes to pay for me to go to 2 different treatment centers. Medevac to 4 different hospitals in 4 different states for 4 different overdoses.
You've been through it. My God, man.
Yeah.
There's a story I'm not going to get into. I'm going to let you tell it. That I read. There was a stolen goods and a blizzard. Does that ring any bells? Outside, there was a blizzard going on outside.
I ended up in the world's dumbest criminals in Colorado.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, totally. So I was in Baltimore and I had ripped this man off for $13,000, and he was a pretty important guy, and he was this Italian guy who lived in Little Italy, and he was a connected man. And I take the $13,000 and I go up the street to the projects, and I shoot as much heroin and cocaine as I can for the next 3 weeks. And then my buddy gets word of where I'm at, what I'm doing, and I have nothing. I'm like literally just this homeless drug addict trying to figure things out. And he comes and he picks me up and he says, look, so-and-so has hired a hitman to kill you. Like, there's people literally, there was a $10,000 bounty put on your head. And you need to go now. So he bought me a one-way ticket from Baltimore, Maryland to Crested Butte, Colorado. Gunnison, Crested Butte, Colorado. And that's like, what that was an 8-day bus ride, an 8-day Greyhound bus ride. But I had $0 and I was withdrawing from heroin the whole time. It was an absolute nightmare.
So you're in a desperate place, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and even then when this took place, I still continued to use for many years after. You know what I mean? So like, to the listener or viewer right now, they'd be like, fuck, if this wasn't a sign, then I don't know what was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
fair enough.
Like, clearly looking back, I could be like, dude, you're fucked. Like, you need to fucking sort it out.
Yeah.
But at the time, the disconnection from reality is insane.
Yeah.
So I finally get to Colorado and I'm looking for like heroin, but there's none. And it's like a party town. It's a ski resort. So there's tons of cocaine, but no like,
no heroin.
yeah, nothing that I was looking for. And so I'm doing cocaine because I'm a drug addict and I'll just do anything to make me feel different than reality. And and finally somebody comes along and they said, hey, I just got a script of Xanax filled. And I'm like, dude, I'll buy the whole thing. And I buy them and I eat like 15 of them immediately.
Jesus.
And this town's really small. There's like one gas station in the whole town. There's like 5 cops to this town. It's like a mom and pop kind of town. And at the gas station where I was standing, there's like a hitching post that you can hitch. And I was living up the mountain across the street from the ski resort. And I ate the pills. And I don't really remember this, but I vaguely remember being cold and looking at the gas station. And above the gas station are apartments. And I don't remember this, but apparently I know I did it because the police incident report says so. I walked over to the gas station. I grabbed a cinder block and I threw it through the front of the window, through the front of the gas station. And I go in there and I steal cigarettes, money, alcohol, and Mentos. Those candies, Mentos.
Why the Mentos?
I don't know. I don't even fucking like them today. I never have. But for some reason, I loaded up on these Mentos.
Interesting.
and I don't remember that, but I remember leaving, and I remember standing at the bus stop again. And I remember looking at the gas station, and now the alarm is going off. Oh, and the people that live above the gas station in the apartments are looking down. And I remember seeing them, hearing the alarm, and saying to myself, it's fucking freezing out here. The damage is already done. I might as well go back, get more stuff, and warm up at the same time. I go back in, and I don't remember anything again. But apparently I fall asleep in the gas station. Like an hour or so later, the police come, and they wake me up, and they say, son, did you break into the gas station? And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been in my bed sleeping all night. And he said, you idiot, you're covered in glass laying on the floor of the gas station that you just broke into.
That's what you call getting caught red-handed.
So they sent me to jail, and like 3 months into my sentence, I'm like next to Mexico, so there's a lot of like, you know, Mexicans in there and all these, and they're calling me like, you dumb motherfucker, you stupid fuck. And I don't know. I'm like, why is everyone calling me dumb? And literally, like, everything was cool. And within one day, everyone started calling me dumb and a dumb motherfucker. And then a sergeant walks up. He said, hey, superstar. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you didn't see. I said, no. He said, you were just on the world's dumbest criminals last night. My God. And they had the video surveillance of me actually breaking in and falling asleep.
And then going back. Yeah. That's insane, man. That's insane. Is that the craziest arrest story you think that you have?
That's one
of the many. Yeah, fair enough. Can I read you an excerpt from your Wikipedia page here that I found? And I had to get some backstory on this. It says one notable radio appearance was on December 26, 2005, where Margera gave Novak $500 to hire 2 sex workers as a Christmas gift, as Novak began to engage in sexual activities with the women live on the air in studio. Sirius Satellite Radio cut off the show. Is there truth to that? What happened?
100%. That's actually like a claim to fame, right?
Wow.
Sirius came out. Sirius was their stamp was uncensored. Mm-hmm. You could say or do anything you want, which was a big difference from FM radio at the time. And so Bam had a show. It was called Radio Bam, and it was on Faction, and we did it from within his home. And we were insane. And, it would be 5 of us in a room, probably similar to what you're in. And then there would be a person working the boards. And we would go live. And we would go live literally across the world. And we'd forget that at times. Yeah. But this intentional day, that was not forgotten. And when the executives heard that we were going to do this, everyone's like, you can't do this. You can't do this. So obviously we're like, oh, we're going to do it. So I went and we recorded, he was in the studio and I had the money and I drove the car into Philly and I acquired 2 hookers and I was bringing them back to the house and I brought them back to the house. And once we got in the house into the radio room, I then proceeded to have sex with them live on air. And in that moment, they pulled the plug. So we're the first radio show ever on Sirius Satellite uncensored radio to become censored.
That is a claim to fame if I've ever heard one. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So it was planned. It wasn't just, you guys knew you were going to do this. You guys knew you were going to go get the prostitutes and you went about it. But they knew you were going to do that live and they just figured that it wasn't going to happen or what?
Yeah. I mean, they knew we were going to do it. We said we were going to do it.
Yeah.
Multiple lawyers called and said, don't do it.
And we did it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So how'd you start out? You went with CKY with Bam. How did you get on the Jackass movie? I think your first stunt you ever did was the ski stunt. Am I right?
I think so. Yeah. If memory serves. And just through Bam, and I was like I was like a crazy fucking guy that would do any stunt, so it was pretty easy and I got the opportunity and ran with it and yeah.
What's it like being on a set with those guys? I mean, I gotta think paranoia is at an all-time high when you're on set with the Jackass guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to think of the concept of those movies, right? The worse you get broke off, the better the footage is.
Exactly.
Right. So it's kind of like an oxymoron for what most people would want out of a film day.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know that going into it willingly. So we just try to do the best that we can in a rather uncertain situation.
Yeah, for sure. So you appeared on, I think it was Jackass 2 and 3.5, or you were in most of the movies.
2.5,
yeah.
2.5, 3, and 3.5.
So, like you said, you're just willing to do skits whenever they came up. Is that everyone's attitude? Is it competitive? Let's see who can get the best footage.
Sure. I mean, everybody wants to do the best, yeah. But then there's some shit that people just want to know part of. Yeah. It just depends on the day and the mood and the morale of everybody. But for the most part, everybody wants to get grade A footage, yeah.
And what was your mentality all the time? Were you just ready to fucking go?
My mentality was that I would do any stunt that they gave me the opportunity to do, because if you weigh the scales of justice, previous to this, I was like a homeless heroin addict in Baltimore City who slept in abandoned houses and ate out of trash cans and occasionally would let men blow me so I could fucking buy more heroin, to now do this crazy stunt and it will end up in the movies and you'll get paid really good and become a fucking celebrity. Easy decision there.
So yeah, exactly. So do you get paid off the stunts that you do, or how does that work?
It varies. It varies depending upon your contract.
Fair enough. To me, it kind of seems like, your life's kind of come full circle with skateboarding. You probably started hanging out with the guys who you hung out with, started doing drugs. And now it seems like skateboarding's kind of helped you kind of remain sober and is a big fixture in your life?
Absolutely. Yeah. Skateboarding is the one thing that brings me the most joy out of anything in my life. Well, skateboarding and recovery, sobriety are my two, like, without sobriety, nothing else is possible. So that's the first thing in my life that I'm the most grateful for. But then is, skateboarding. It's the only thing that I can do that shuts this off. Like when I'm skateboarding, I'm in it. And I think that God blesses all of us with a trait such as that. But I don't, you could be the best ping pong player in the world, but God might not see fit to put a paddle in your hand, and you would never even know that, and I was blessed with the ability to have a skateboard put in my hand, and that, I respect it, and I pay it as much homage as I possibly can. And it's taught me kind of a lot about life.
Was there ever a point where, you kind of looked at yourself and you didn't see someone worth saving, where, you just felt like you're so down in the dumps that there was no possible way you were going to dig yourself out of it?
No. I knew that my life was going to end one of two ways. Like even when I used to get loaded, I remember we'd be like filming all day, and afterwards everyone would go out like during Viva La Bam, and we all go into town and party. And I'd be like, all right, I'll meet you guys at the bar, but I'm going to go to a meeting first. And Bam would be like, why the fuck do you go to these AA meetings and then meet us at the bar after? And the reality is because I knew that my life was going to turn out one of two ways. Either I was going to get it and I was going to get sober, or I was going to die of an overdose. I was never okay with like, this is just my life and I'll be getting high the rest of my, you know what I mean? Like, I came from better. I knew better, and I wasn't acceptable of the results that I was receiving out of my life at a later date. You know what I mean? So like, nah, I knew that like, if I could get sober, I'd fucking like kill it, because I kill anything else that I do. Again, skateboarding weeds out the quitters, and I have that mentality.
Oh, that's amazing. I know, like I've heard from some other addicts that, the way they got sober is they always felt that there was somebody worth saving in there. And do you think that's a problem for some people who are have reoccurring addiction? They can't seem to escape it, is because they don't value themselves enough? Or?
And I think that's a piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not like a one size fits all black and white issue. If that were the case, we wouldn't be in the predicament that we are today with the pandemic, or shall I say epidemic.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of moving parts to it, and it's a big puzzle, and that's definitely a very fucking big piece in that puzzle.
If you don't mind us asking this, where are you at right now with Bam? I know you guys might have had a little bit of a falling out.
Nah, we never had a falling out ever. He's he's found himself in a position that he's pretty disconnected from reality, right? And he's openly and readily admitted to his situation, his issue with his alcoholism and addiction. And what I've learned from my own experience from being in that position is that like hurt people, right? So someone in that position is not gonna like come from a place of like love and peace and understanding. They're hurt, and they're like just trying to figure it the fuck out. And so there was never an issue with me and him. I think he, was just in a really bad way and was kind of just taking it out on anybody in his path, unfortunately. And that's, again, the severity of addiction and alcoholism.
Totally.
But I get it. So, I love him to death. He's one of my best friends in the world, and I'll be here for him as he was for me throughout my years of addiction over and over. He's currently in a facility now, and God willing, it works. And we'll see.
When people are in that situation, and do you reach out to them? And if so, like from your experience, when people reached out to you, were you receptive of it, or were you just like, I don't want any fucking part of this. I don't want to hear how I have a problem.
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
It depends on what time you call me, whether I was sick or I just got, you know what I mean? But what happens are these seeds are planted along the way. ignorance is bliss. When you don't know, you're not to be held accountable. But when you know, you fucking know, and you can't forget what you've learned. Um, so, so you know, we've reached out. We will continue to do so, and you know, the big thing I think with alcoholism and addiction, or should I say addicts and alcoholics, is is I don't try to meet them where I believe they should be or where I expect them to be headed. I meet them exactly where they're at and let them know that together, the opposite of addiction is connection.
No, that makes total sense. There's another guy, a very famous guy on the Jackass set, Steve-O. I mean, looking at his life and how fucking crazy he was during his younger years, are you surprised that he came around and he got sober?
No, I mean, it's surprised, no. Grateful, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like his sobriety, his journey, his recovery has inspired me and countless others, you know, to allow us to believe in ourselves and our journey and our recovery. But I think that anybody can do it. It's just that, are you willing to do what it takes to get there?
Definitely. How important are the meetings, Brandon? I mean, I know you said you went to AA even when you're still using and still drinking. How important is that, just to kind of surround yourself with people who are of the same mindset, who, you know, want to help themselves and want to get better?
It's crucial. It's fundamental. You know, I have to surround myself with like-minded people. So they can hold me accountable and continue to right size me. And especially the longer I stay sober, the more in jeopardy I am of returning back to where I came from, because my life is so fucking different today than it was when I came in. You know, in 30, 60, 90 days of sobriety, it's easy for me to remember the pain. Mm-hmm. But coming up on 7 years later, and my world is drastically different, you know, like my brain could tell me, oh, you know, you could probably have a slice off a glass of wine and it would be different, you know. But I know, and I remain proactive in my sobriety. And what that means is I go to meetings, I help other guys, I have a God of my understanding, and I don't drink or drug under any and all circumstances.
Do you think alcohol is kind of the root of it all, you know, where you have a drink and then the other stuff follows, or is it?
Well, yeah, it's for me. For me, yeah, but the drug, for me, the drugs and alcohol are not the problem. Actually, it has nothing to do with the problem. It's the solution to my problem. Mm-hmm. My problem is me, my thinking, my attitude, my behaviors. And the solution to my problem is a drink or a drug, because it in turn allows me to escape the reality that I create for myself with those thinkings, attitudes, and behaviors.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I didn't know that until I got into like doing a lot of internal work on myself to come to understand all this. And that was the problem. I always underestimated the opponent that I was up against. And no wonder I got beat the fuck every time I stepped in the ring with a drink or a drug, right? Because I possessed this job that consisted of knowing everything. And then when I, you know, woke up on life support and walked into my 13th treatment center and a lot of other things that took place, I realized that, you know, what I do know is that I don't know.
Yeah.
And my very best thinking places me here. And it allowed me to get out of my way again, which was the problem, you know?
For sure. When you woke up on life support, was that after a heroin overdose, or what was that?
Yeah.
So
heroin and a ton of Xanax.
And Xanax as well. Is that the first overdose that you had, or?
I've lost count.
Really? If you could guesstimate, how many would you say?
30.
30? Really?
Yeah.
So there's a new movie coming up. It got delayed, Jackass 4. Are you making an appearance?
I am not part of that one.
What do you think of the guys getting in that one?
I think it's amazing. I couldn't be happier for any of them. It's awesome.
And a lot of the guys are sober now, doing the stunts. Do you think when you guys were filming those movies, was a lot of it was under the influence, I'm assuming, of drugs and alcohol?
I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it just depends for me, you know, what was going on.
For sure. And now going into that, I mean, most of those guys are sober now. And do you think it'll have a different dynamic on the movie, or do you think it'll come out amazing?
I think it'll come out amazing.
That's good.
You know, drugs and alcohol don't make anything better. you know. So it's, if anything, the movie will be better.
That's true. So Brandon, if you had any advice, I mean, for somebody going through and struggling right now, and not to be cliche about it, but what would you say are the first steps to, you know, starting to get clean and starting to kind of change your life and get away from that stuff?
Reach out for help, man. Yeah. Together we can do this, man. You know, by myself, I'll continue to suffer in silence. Mm-hmm. People aren't osmosis. They can't, you know, mind read my fucking problems, you know, and they're not as heavy as I'll make them out to be. So the very first thing I would suggest is to stick your hand out and ask somebody for a little bit of advice or guidance, and run something by them. And if you're not in a safe place, tell somebody you're not in a safe place. Like I'm telling you, man, it makes a world of difference, and it kind of really lightens the load that we carry on our fucking shoulders.
For sure.
Because other people have been where you're at.
And you're one of those people. I mean, you have a number posted in your Instagram bio, I believe, for people to reach out to you as well.
Yeah, they can reach out. If anyone needs help specifically getting into treatment, they can reach me and my team directly at 610-600-9174. Amazing. And if you're interested in any of my stuff, you can just go to my website, which is www.brandonnovak.com.
Amazing. Brandon, I think that's all I have for you today, man. At the moment, Brandon, do you have any projects that you're working on, or?
I'm getting ready to open another Novak's house. Well, honestly, the projects, there's a lot of moving parts to all of them. So the easiest way to see what I'm up to is just going to my website, and that kind of takes you down the rabbit hole of all of that. Because there's a lot of different things, and there's no like hard dates to any of them. So I don't like to talk about things that aren't like set to come out on fucking February 3rd, or you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
But there's a lot, man. But check my stuff out, and if you're into it, fuck yeah. And if you're not, I love you regardless.
Amazing. Well, Brandon, thanks so much again. We really appreciate you coming on. This was amazing.
It, guys. Thanks for dealing with my tardiness, man.
No, you're the best, man. And hopefully we have you on again. Maybe sometime we'll check back in with you.
I'd love to, man. Take care.
Thanks, Brandon.